Hello and welcome to this very special episode. We have a very special guest, Anupam Thareja, co-founder of Classic Legends Private Limited, the parent company of Java Motorcycles, and also the same company which has revived the BSA motorcycle brand, which was unveiled recently in Birmingham, UK. Welcome, Anupam.
Thank you, Preetham.
So it's been a great journey. Java, now ESD is happening. And at the same time, parallelly, you've also revived the iconic brand in the UK, BSA Motorcycles. So how did all this come about?
You know the Java story.
Yeah.
I don't think so. This was it's getting launched sequentially, but of course it was planned together. BSA brand was actually acquired first.
Oh.
So when you launch a company, you have to launch it keeping in mind the whole product portfolio, right? You can't be sequential in your thought process about the portfolio because it takes years to develop a motorcycle. So the engine platforms, the portfolio, the bikes, they were all planned simultaneously. Incidentally, Java came first. COVID notwithstanding, we would have done Java, yes, the BSA, in a much more faster sequential way. But hey, it is what it is. We have learned to play with the cards we are dealt with. And finally, despite the COVID, I think our engineers, designers, they worked brilliantly. And here we are. Finally, we revealed BSA in Birmingham last week, which you saw.
So acquiring an iconic brand, like British brand, so to speak, like BSA, I mean, it's a huge brand. Were there any initial challenges that you had to overcome to go to the UK and acquire a iconic British brand from the Brits?
Two things first. I repeat this, and probably it's getting boring, that we can't even acquire these brands. We are actually custodians of these brands. We are lucky that we were able to partake in this revival of BSA, and to me, it is not taking something in UK. I think it is a UK brand. So it is our ode from the UK to the world, from us to UK, from UK to the world. That's how we see it. And provenance is important to us. So this brand will be made in the UK. That's how we are conceptualizing it. So I keep on repeating, we have imagined this brand in UK, and we are lucky to be a custodian of a brand like this.
So BSA, more so in the UK and Europe, is quite well known as an iconic historical motorcycle brand. Did you have to go to meet a lot of experts, a lot of collectors, a lot of fans of the BSA brand? How did the whole design process take place? I mean, what were the initial thoughts that what kind of a motorcycle the new BSA should be? Did you have to walk to meet people, meet original BSA owners? And who are these guys who actually came up with the design, the engine, the technology of the new BSA?
So good question. Firstly, you are absolutely right. The owners of BSA, when we were negotiating with them, it was a tough negotiation. And it was not tough because of commercials. It was tough because these guys had preserved or curated the brand and kept it with a lot of love and passion with them. And they were worried that it should not be given to somebody who cannot do justice to it, right? They kept on telling me that once we're sitting in our armchairs in our old age, we should be having a smile on our face thinking, wow, it's back, and justice has been done to it. And we've tried very hard to do that justice. To answer your question, of course, I don't know how many nights, how many days I've spent in the Motorcycle Museum in Birmingham, where you have a BSA section. In fact, we took permission of the museum director, James, to actually take all the BSAs from the museum into a room, and I think we slept with them. We were there days, and every day we used to invite some club, different clubs at different time, different journos, different motorcycling people, all kind of aficionados who talked to us. We actually did formal clinics in terms of what did this brand stand for when it was the largest brand in the world. It was
Yep.
one of the 4 motorcycles, as
Yeah.
you know, was sold from BSA. What was its then relative to other motorcycles, and what should it be relative to other motorcycles today? It cannot be yet another British brand revived, produced and sold, right? That story has been played out, and well. Are other companies which are doing it, and I keep on saying they're great companies and they're doing a great job. So what do we do? If I do what they do, they will beat me with size, time, experience, head start, scale. But then you know me, you've ridden with me enough that we are a bunch of crazies. So we had to change the game. And the pillar we relied on was actually authenticity. We said, a lot of people are trying to do what is good for the company, what is good for size, scale, sales. Why don't we just do what is good for motorcycling? And I keep on telling this story that the word I use for BSA is liberation. Right? BSA first liberated through mobility in early 1905, 1910, when they gave a popular bike to the world through the factory called Birmingham. Birmingham was the factory of the world.
Small arms.
Small arms. And Birmingham as a city was the factory to the world.
Yeah.
And they made a largest factory in that state. You must have seen the serial Peaky Blinders. If you haven't, you should. It's beautiful. But I think the real BSA, the second life of BSA happened through the same company post-war, when they actually gave the world the love of motorcycling. They got into leisure motorcycling. The famous line at that time was the bold new world of BSA, right from communication to positioning and launching of Goldie, right? Gold Star.
Gold Star.
That changed the way people looked at motorcycles, right? It was a beautiful feeling. It was leisure, right? First time leisure motorcycling came rather than commuting motorcycling, right? Rather than mobility for motorcycling, or going from place A to place B. The world changed into leisure, and these guys were at the forefront of it. So we took cues from that. So if the first birth of leisure motorcycling was Goldie or Gold Star, we had to launch with a Gold Star. And the first Gold Star was a gorgeous single. And that's why single, and I can talk to you in detail why a single. But I think that's not important. What was important, as you rightly said, is that the clinics, the motorcycle museums, the inordinate time we spent around those beautiful machines, understanding their proportions, understanding their design philosophy, what was going into them. Through that labor of love, BSA was born.
So one question which we have heard before is that when you'd gone to the UK, when you're in the final stages of acquiring the BSA brand, you were stopped by immigration in London, right? So what exactly happened there?
No, not stopped. It's like a typical immigration line, and you go there, and there are standard questions. They ask, "Why are you coming here?" And I, for business. And then they ask you, "What business?" And you said, "I'm looking at a motorcycle brand." And then, I think he was just doing a routine check, which brand. And as I said, I shouldn't have told, but I just said BSA. My view was immigration officer, one quick chat, and then the guy just stopped. And that immigration interview went for a very long time, to the annoyance of the long queue behind me. And I, you can't say no to that guy. And he's asking, "Oh, so are you doing that? Is it really coming back? Will you put a single or put a twin?" So I could see this gentleman's eyes light up. He didn't care what is happening, and he kept on talking about the brand. He kept on telling me his stories, his friends, his parents, and how he rode that bike. And that was very important, because I realized that it is still in the mind. And one of my favorite lines is that human mind is the best real estate in the world, most expensive real estate in the world. And if it's parked there, all I had to do was justice to the brand, to the product, to bring it to the fore. And hopefully that's what we will do.
Going back to the history of the BSA brand, BSA also was a conglomerate of sorts at one time, right? Of so many brands. Can you walk us through that at that point of the glory days of BSA?
Yes, Today the brands are owned by others, so I'm not going to go deeper into that history. But yeah, it was a powerhouse. It owned all the big brands which you know today.
Norton, Triumph.
Absolutely. Because these were the brands. They constituted 95% of the market. Rest, all the other brands were just fringe brands, right? So all the big brands were owned by them. But as I said, we stuck to that golden period of BSA, where it itself was that romantic BSA. It went into the culture. If you look at I will send you a few ads after this. In fact, I'll post it after you post this interview. It's brilliant. They were actually innovators even in terms of leisure motorcycling, how they portrayed leisure motorcycling. Women empowerment. So this was the first brand that actually came out and talk about women riding in a very progressive way. So yeah, that's where we are.
So going back to the development of the new Gold Star, how long did this whole process take place? And it was pretty hush-hush. We haven't heard much about the new BSA Gold Star. So who are these people who worked on the new platform, the new chassis, the new big bore single, the 650cc single, the design, and how was the process like?
So firstly, yes, it was hush-hush, but it started along with Java. So it is the engine platforms. As I said, we had to plan a portfolio, and this is not it. You've just seen 2.5 of that portfolio. We have more engines. Of course, we have a running EV. We were the first one to be running a prototype EV in this category. But we wanted to start with what we have started with. And also, we want the infrastructure to develop a little bit more, because we are not large enough to both be the innovator, the first to the market, and also build the infrastructure. But we are ready. In terms of this particular machine, as I said, imagined, designed, engineered in UK. If there was no COVID, I would have totally produced in UK. So yeah, I would have been looking places to manufacture this along with the DIT in UK, and they were very helpful. In fact, they funded us for the design center for EV, which is right now well advanced. The project is managed by the Warwick University.
That's in Coventry, right?
That's in Coventry. And we have 6 different vendors who are also simultaneously funded, separately funded. So the overall project becomes reasonably large. So Preetham, one thing was sure. We did not want to do a badging exercise, to take a bike or take a platform and, fix it, put some design cues on it, and badge it. That would have been a disservice to a brand like BSA. So you're absolutely right. It's a ground-up effort. New chassis, new engine. We had great partners. After the designers, which are Redline, we had Ricardo as a project manager. We had Rotax, of course, and then we had University of Graz. All these people, they had connections with British motorcycling. So yeah, we spent time in Birmingham, ground up developing this motorcycle. So from Wipro to Redline to Ricardo to University of Graz so yeah, it's a collaborative effort, and hundreds of engineers in India. Days and nights, tough fight between designers and engineers. All the designers will never relent on design, and they all hate me because I used to say, no, this is wrong, just go back to original. And times have changed, technology has improved. We need to meet this single, we have to meet emissions, we have to meet NVH, we have to mate it with this, the rideability, this beautiful engine. We need to mate it with the bike so that it's a harmonious piece. So yeah, it was a all the motorcycling processes was followed, but also some crazy design processes were followed. And the culmination of this is BSA. So yeah, it was started along with Java. Of course, COVID put us back. We couldn't spend time. There were disruptions from the vendor side. There were disruptions from a lot of design studios we were working with. We had some of the people went through personal tragedies. We lost the head of BSA operations in UK. So despite that, we just put our head down, waddled through all these scars which we got on our back, and kept on at it, and that's where we are.
You've seen a lot of questions coming about the new BSA on social media, particularly on my personal handle as well. And you just mentioned Rotax. For our viewers, Rotax is the same company which developed the BMW F650 single back in the day in the 90s, late 90s when it was launched, the BMW F650. So any particular reason why you went to Rotax, or did they have a lot of experience making big singles like the 650cc Funduro engine?
So let's work on this. Firstly, I didn't want to delve on this fact of singles too much. For me, it is you have to have a right product. There's a brand, there is a beautiful experience, there is a Gold Star, and then there is the right engine. To my mind, the motorcycle progression, for right reasons, was every time you said, I have got a new motorcycle, year X plus one, plus one, plus one. Every plus 1 year meant a faster, bigger, heavier. Singles went to twins, twins went to triples, fours, and even more, right? And now sometime when the progression is defined as, or development or technology is defined in some terms of faster, bigger, you lose the charm that what you are leaving behind could have been worked on more to made it beautiful.
Absolutely.
So you're absolutely right. Look at after 650. Which is the most, tell me a good single right? in the world, right? Even one of the best competition, which I loved, the 690, moved away from it, right?
Yeah.
So almost serendipitously, people were vacating this space, but somebody somewhere will get up and say, no, what do I got to do with 1, 2, 3 big heavy? I need to do with rideability, I need to do with pleasure, and it's not. So if you put the technology somewhere where everybody has vacated that space and you make it into a gorgeous engine, so when you're riding a bike, what you're feeling, how you're riding, what is the power output, how it's handling for that category, that's what you should feel. You won't say, you won't look down the hood and say, 2 or 3, right? So, so that's what we focused on. So we put tech back, we put engineering back. How else would you get that beautiful thump, beautiful feeling of a single? So to my mind, this is the most eligible single in the world.
Less is more.
Less is more. Simple is beautiful, complex, but simple is beautiful. Simplicity is complex, but it's also beautiful, right? So we went, so in terms of rideability, in terms of weight, in terms of approachability, in terms of affordability, everything just comes into this beautiful thing called BSA Gold Star. And we are not focusing on it, but I could understand the question would come, hey, you're coming at this age and why this? And I'm saying, why not, right? So the question is, why not? And once you ride it, you will see what I mean. There's a charm about a single long stroke thump, and we are happy with it.
So the current understanding is that the BSAs, the new BSAs will be manufactured in the UK. Once you figure out a place somewhere near Birmingham, it has to be Birmingham because Birmingham small arms. That's what we've been hearing. But our market, the world's largest two-wheeler market, people are really getting excited about the BSA. I mean, they're looking at it and looking at it very nostalgically. Even people, youngsters now, they're looking at a modern classic and they love the bike. So what about an India launch sometime in the future? Are you looking at it?
We would like to. Right now, we have the brand for the whole world. And this matter is a little sub judice in India. So I would not like to comment on the Indian launch, but yes, if you're asking me whether this product can be sold in India, the answer is of course yes. I was surprised at the number of BSAs people have hidden in their garages, and the memories of BSA generationally passed on. And you're right, forget the brand and the nostalgia of the past, just the beauty of the machine. This design, people are maturing. I keep on saying I'm very happy with that 1 or 2% of the motorcycle buying pop who are purist and who think like we do. We want to inculcate them into our tribe, and they get it. So yes, is India ready for a gorgeous bike like a BSA? The answer is yes.
So India right now is not only the world's biggest motorcycle market. A lot of Indian brands have picked up own British origin brands, like Royal Enfield has been Indian ownership for the longest time. TVS has picked up Norton motorcycles now. Now you've picked up a BSA. So, what is the future of Indian motorcycling as a whole look like, as far as the manufacturers are concerned, as far as the community of motorcycling, the motorcyclists are concerned? Are there exciting times ahead, or do you think the future is going to be more electric?
So depending on the categories, I think the category which we have picked, which is the leisure category, to my mind will live this transition alongside the migration to electric, much more harmoniously than probably the mass. That's what our view is. And we are very happy with it, because while for some it might be substitution, for us it will be incremental. Even EV will be incremental, because this brand will develop in geographies. This brand will go up in a category which is getting into leisure motorcycling, which to my mind is growing. So if you ask me what is growing in the two-wheeler, what will keep on growing for a very long time, particularly in the motorcycling segment, I think it will be leisure motorcycling or pleasure motorcycling. So the pleasure motorcycling segment will go up, to my mind, and EV will come. There are conscientious buyer, and you can't stop that. Imagine a twin. It's like that's a twin which has come already with the BSA. So you have a twin engine fighting. Will EV happen? Yes, I am reasonably sure it will. As I said, in our product profile or in the product portfolio when we were developing it, we did develop it alongside. So to my mind, leisure motorcycling will be one segment that will globally grow. You will see larger markets, be it, of course, the developed markets are doing well, the Americas and the Europe, but even the South American market, even the other developing markets, to my mind, will move towards motorcycling rather than motorcycles. And all you need is an incremental take from the mass segment for this segment to keep on growing for a very long time, and to my mind, that will happen. So this segment will grow. So exciting time for the mid-market category. Particularly which has a very strong resonance of a brand, and if they stay authentic to what it stands for, brand should not be extended too long. You cannot. So each brand we have, I can't extend those brand too wide. I think that's the problem. So you're asking me, can I have a cruiser under Java? The answer is no. Can I have adventure under Java? The answer is no. Can you custom make a Java to make a roadster or a? Yes, you can. Of course you can. Some may even want to put a chopper handle and go. That's their choice. But does the brand from my side lend itself to be something it was never, or should not have been, or could not have been? That's why 3 brands. So we have straddled these brands, not only geographically, but even from a product offering. So BSA is my Western market brand. Java is the Eastern market brand, or Eastern Bloc. And Eastern Bloc, remember, spread across where the communist countries were. So there's Argentina, there are parts of Eastern Europe, of course. There is all the way from Russia to Eastern Europe, Argentina, parts of Africa. Whereas Yazdi had it's iconic in India. So nicely straddling geographies and products. And that will be that's how purist we are about the brand. And that's how stickler I want to be for what the brand should not be, or how the brand should not be done. So that's how we are looking at it.
So it mentioned leisure motorcycling, the whole segment of leisure motorcycling. You also let it slip that the next BSA is going to be a twin. And so in terms of product positioning and pricing, so is there a competition that you're looking at in the European market, at least for now?
So I'm not confirming it's a twin. Who knows, it can be an EV. But you will see that soon. So yes, we are not going to price it for, we're not going to price ourselves out of it, right? We're going to be smack in the middle of it. But we will differentiate ourselves, how we position it, how we want it to be accepted and ridden. That's how. So that's the advantage of being small. I don't need to chase numbers. I don't need to please all the constituencies that be in a corporate world. I just need to please one constituency, which is a leisure rider or a pleasure rider. That gives me an advantage of doing the right thing and choose my right customers and sell it to them in the right way. So we're going to stick to that, and that's how we're going to develop this brand. So no, may not be a twin. Why not a EV, right? But yeah, a lot of variants are possible. As I keep on saying, this is like a canvas which we make, right, for people to explore. we are the company that always said that we're going to come out with customs ourselves. Time has come for factory customs. So you will see a lot of variants, and then definitely an EV. There's nothing hidden about it that we are working on this EV project along with the UK government and the Warwick University. So there is an EV that's in the offing at the right time. And that EV, the platform. So what we're developing are platforms, right? And that platform will be again deployed across the range, across the region, based on the right brand and the right configuration.
Okay. So last question, Classic Legends. Now you have a bouquet of all brands, Java, then ESD is happening now, and BSA for Europe to start off with. And will there be transfer of technology from, say, the kind of engines that are developing for BSA to Java or vice versa?
Short answer, yes. Why not? Anything which we learn or which is good will be horizontally deployed. But as I said, we will stay true to the brand, right? So yeah, engine platform will be shared. That's a commercial reality, and it should be done. But should it just be picked and put? Absolutely no. I keep on saying it's what cc or a cylinder is one thing. How do you go to 0 to 60 or 0 to 80 or 0 to 100? How it behaves, what it tells you when you are doing that is most important. The design, we are completely a design-led company, so the design has to be pure. How the delivery happens of that power has to be completely coherent to the brand. So may not be consistent. So brand architecture may not be consistent but coherent, right? So it will be, you will see the brand speaking the right language with the product that comes into play. Of course, horizontal deployment of technology is a commercial reality.
Okay. Thank you so much, Anupam, for spending time with us. BSA, a big brand making a comeback. For our Indian viewers, realistically, when can we expect BSA to be seen on Indian roads?
As I said, that's one subject I will not be able to delve. It's with the but hopefully everything going right. Hopefully soon.
Congratulations once again. Thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.